Shalom, shalom, and welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled Parshat Beshalach, the power of money. Moshe goes ahead, as the psukim in the beginning of the Parsha testify to, and he went and he took Yosaif's bones out of Egypt. B'nai Yisrael says he took it out of the Nilus, which is a Gemara in Sota, which the Tirgum introduces into his translation of the Torah, which Yonatan Bazil does. His Tirgum is different than Tirgum Unklus, which stays more with the Parshat of the Pasuk. And Moshe went ahead, took the bones from the Nilus, or wherever they were. And the question is, why was he involved and not the rest of Kli Yakar? Was it something critical of Kli Yakar that they weren't involved? So some say that Moshe needed to do kapara. It was his great-great-grandfather Levi that was involved in the sale of Yosaif, so he needed to make it up. Others say that Yosaif knew that the Jews were going to leave with a lot of money, and therefore he knew it was going to be a very tough challenge. Taking Yosaif's casket meant not taking extra money. And then the Gemara is critical. The Gemara in Sota Gimel writes that look how much Moshe loved the mitzvot. He took Yosaif, and the rest of Kli Yisrael were running after the money. What says, what does that mean? The whole Kli Yisrael, there were no tzaddikim, zakenim, who wanted to go ahead and do the mitzvah. They all just caved into the ta'ava, the desire for money. Sounds hard to believe. So Henoch says they didn't simply say, we're going to take the money over the mitzvah. They said, we're going to take a mitzvah over another mitzvah. Osik b'mitzvah, we're involved in a mitzvah. What mitzvah is that? Collecting the wealth. Collecting the wealth of Egypt, that was a mitzvah that God told Avraham, that they're going to leave with a lot of wealth, and Moshe told the Jews, make sure you leave with a lot of gold and silver from the Egyptians. So they were involved in a mitzvah. So it wasn't simply, they said, we're going to take our taiva desires over the mitzvah of Yosaif. No. They were convinced that the mitzvah of being involved in the money was the mitzvah of the time, and someone else was involved in the casket of Moshe, and that was fine. So we see from here the danger of money. Once there's gold and silver involved, it's very hard to be objective. A person goes ahead at Egypt, and he thinks, well, the bigger the mitzvah I will get if I take more money, as opposed to, okay, I took the money, I took some gold and silver, now let me do another mitzvah. It's very hard to be objective once there is that power of money involved. If this was the case, even Moshe was praised for that he was able to see clearly through. And that's why the Gemara praises him. And it's an amazing lesson for all of us. That any time a person is involved in monetary issues, he has to know that there's a bias there. The Shmoth only writes 3 times, he uses the term ma'od, be very, very careful. And Zara is with a mitzvah. It's regarding ibid, not charging interest. It's with regard to our rayot, being very careful, keeping a distance between a prohibited woman. And the 3rd time is regarding taking a bribe, a judge taking a bribe. And it's not only a judge who's a former judge, a person involved in money decisions. It could be a therapist who's seeing a couple. And the question is, do the couple still need help? Maybe they're fine. They can work on their own now. So the therapist must realize that he or she is very biased. 400 or 500 shekel or more every time the therapist sits with the couple. That is going to affect the decision. If the person doesn't actively work on and consciously think about that aspect, they're going to be biased. The tutor's tutoring a kid in Chumash, Gemara, math. Okay, maybe the kid knows his material already. And the person has to realize, wait, I have a temptation just to keep and going and going and going. So it's not only the judge who has a formal bribe in front of him. It's any person, where any case that there's money involved in his decision-making process, he must realize, I am biased, I need to take a step back, discuss it with my friend, my Rebbe, my wife, whoever it may be, and just bounce it off. Am I being objective, or is the money irrationally swaying my decisions? And if the great people from Kli Yisrael were swayed by that factor, and Moshe is praised for overcoming that, how much more so each one of us has to be careful that the kesef, the money, doesn't distort our rational thinking capabilities. Shalom.